Don't fall for their tricks, Camille. Okay, episode 44. Yes, there's a spreadsheet. It's been there for 44 episodes.
Wait, what?
I know. I imagine that. Welcome to another episode of a gaming podcast. Steve, the only Steve. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know, it's beginning of the week for us, and had a pretty good weekend. It was Money in the Bank weekend in Toronto, Canada.
I think Toronto did good. You know, Riley
Toronto did good.
Riley carried the crowd. I heard Riley a lot, so thank you so much for doing that, Riley.
Of course, guys.
Did you have any signs, Riley? Did you decide to make any signs?
I didn't have any signs, but I did get a couple of chants going.
Oh, you did?
I did. So yeah. So we had fun doing that, but Pretty Deadly was wrestling on SmackDown. We got Pretty Average going around the arena a bit. And
that was you? That's hilarious.
So we got a few of them going, but it was pretty good. And then when John Cena came out, that was bonkers. So it was pretty special.
Man, being in the room for that would have been so awesome. But yeah. I hope they come back for another PLE because I know that they come back for a SmackDown or Raw every so often. But
I think they will. John Cena mentioned that he'll be back in Toronto before he retires again, so he'll definitely have a match at some point. I'm imagining a PLE.
Oh, that'd be great. Maybe I gotta go to that one.
Chamber, I don't know. Who knows?
Gotta go. The Chamber? You think we'll get the Chamber? That'd be cool.
I don't know.
That'd be interesting. War Games. I don't know.
War Games would be so good.
Montreal usually be like the staple for Survivor Series. Anyway, I don't want. We're gonna dive in deep with wrestling here. Riley, you're good as well. Anything you want to add, Riley, as guest?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I missed a couple episodes, but I'm finally back. I've been busy, but good to be here.
Is he planning a wedding that Camille did not know about?
Wedding.
I know now, though.
You didn't know?
I know. We're joking. We knew. I knew. Wedding.
She didn't know.
She
didn't know. She clearly didn't know. Trying to play it off.
Camille, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I think I'm done the bulk of my challenging. Oh my god, my traveling. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, and it wasn't traveling to my mouth. But yeah, I think I've done the bulk of my traveling for summer. So I've just been chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Just
how's everything going with the NASCAR
world? NASCAR's going really well. We're more than halfway in the season. I'm also leading in pick points. Well, now I'm in second place for pick points amongst the Countdown to Green crew. I won the first year I joined the NASCAR series. I lost the second year, but I'm coming home with my picks. Also, my camera's weird. Sorry about that. It's not in the position it should be. There we go.
I didn't want to call it out, but yeah,
it's still doing it. What's going on? Okay. And it's honestly,
it's because you said something, Riley. That's what happened.
Yeah.
It's great to be back here with most of you.
Thank you.
Not you.
That's what I meant.
That's what I meant.
Hide the stream if you want.
I was so veiled. I didn't.
Just end it. We can just leave. I can just do you.
Do I have to separate you two? That'll put one of you up here or something.
No, it's funny because we bicker, but we always agree on bets that win us drinks. So
that's just not right.
Didn't you
actually factually?
Then you went against Camille afterwards.
Well, no, she tried to say, "Oh, it's going to be out by the end of the year." I was like, "No, it's not." No shot.
I was trying to push him, see how far he'd go, but we still need those drinks, Riley.
We legit do. Yeah, I'm owed.
Didn't I give you guys a drink or something like that at Summer Game Fest? I swear I did.
You just said you've been busy.
I wasn't there.
How can we get you a drink?
Oh, I didn't get you, Riley. Okay, I got you, Camille, then. Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
I mean, weren't those drinks free? Did they count?
Semantics.
I
did get you a drink. So
yes.
Service with a smile, right?
That's what you meant. Hey, Camille, you want me to grab you anything?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly
it. Whole is the lunch. That's the whole thing. Yeah, the salad is a lunch right there. You have it. Okay, so
salad is not a lunch.
That salad's a lunch.
Yeah. Marcel, how are you doing? No one's asked you. How are you doing?
Yeah, how are you doing, man?
Busy planning some stuff, some top secret stuff, and talk about this. I mean, I'll tell you guys afterwards. Sorry, everyone else is watching this, but
we get the privileged information.
Yeah. Everyone else, you have to wait. So, but it's been slowly catch up on things. But yeah, thanks for asking. But you know who's not doing good? Ubisoft.
Right. Wait, what'd they do?
Oh, what haven't they done at this point?
Okay.
Looking at the sheet. By the way, I realized in the sheet we were supposed to put our availabilities. I did not. I'm the only person that did not. My bad.
Together.
Oh, actually, Aaron didn't either. So our bad.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know what you're talking about that.
What, again, what
no
spreadsheet?
idea what you're talking about. That.
There's lots of tabs in the spreadsheet.
That part. You know, I never clicked. I only stay on the first one.
Well, that's what I was like. I never knew there were other tabs, and I started clicking through because we were talking about the sheet, and I was like, "Oh crap! I was supposed to do something in here."
That's it. We're making a Discord channel or something. We're gonna just have it, and then that way be more organized, or Slack, whatever. I don't like losing Slack. Oh, Slack's not my
seem
favorite.
all professional, like, you know.
I have to. I'm forced to use Slack for work stuff. I'm just like I'm so confused by it. I swear, it's just they change stuff all the time.
Apparently, there's a petition going around with accusing Ubisoft of insulting the Japanese culture, demanding the cancellation of Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, this fucking thing! Oh.
Well, here we go. Here's the whole story. A recent launch petition which has now been signed more by 50,000 people, calls for Ubisoft to stop working on Assassin's Creed Shadows immediately. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the 14th installment in the AC series, set in feudal Japan. This game is set to come out later on in November. In November. I said November. A petition on change.org accuses Ubisoft for disrespecting Japanese culture, calls on Ubisoft to cancel the game release. The petition, which launched on June 19th, once again has over 51,000 signatures. The game, quote, the game is based on the subject of Japanese samurais and ignores the fact that samurais are a higher class of samurai and should be Goki Mono, a servant of nobility. In fact, the first European to receive that title is William Adams. Was a bannerman with 250 Goki and served Tokugawa. There's a lot of words here. There's a lot of Japanese terms here. I'm sorry, I do not know that one. I do apologize for that. Throughout the history, Ubisoft continues to misunderstand the nature of the role of the samurai. This is a real insult to Japanese culture and a history that could lead to Asian racism, end quote. I did see some other videos of people talking about this as well, where they just got like, there's been many terms of like Ubisoft directors, representatives saying like, oh yeah, we got like a historian, we got everything, and like we're doing everything right. And like how Yusuke is like, even like his story is historically true. Yusuke is kind of like a John Appleseed, where like they just become their own identity, where like that was a real person, but then it's in a way it just become like their own type of thing. We're like, oh, I heard a story about John. I'm like
an urban legend.
Yeah, it's an urban legend type of thing.
Yeah,
and that is where like the Japanese, I guess outcry is coming from, where like, hey, you're doing a lot of like. There's one thing with the Japanese culture, like you don't want to mess that up. Like that's something very serious to them. Like any other culture, if you want to be representative correctly, you want it done correctly. If you have a historian, this historian should have done their homework and get it right, because like even certain towers are incorrect, or how the samurai are even being representative as well is also incorrect. In fact, even up to today, Ubisoft actually apologized for the Japanese historical reenactment group of using its flag in Assassin's Creed Shadows without the art's permission as well. Something that the historian should have known as well. As we are talking right now, and then I'll let you guys jump in, there's over 75,000 signatures as we speak, and it's still growing up to now. Next goal is 150. Anyone want to take this?
It's just idiots being mad.
Yeah,
it's just that's what it is. It's just idiots being mad, and they're probably, I would say, a majority of those 75,000 are not even Japanese.
Actually, I can stop you there. majority of them are Japanese.
Are Japanese,
people.
yeah.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I thought this was the other one that they were just like, you got mad at Yasuke. I was just like, really?
No.
And in fact, there's been videos of Japanese people like, hey, if you want to just have him as a representative, then don't say like, yeah, this is historically true. Just say like, this is like some fantasy, like Ubisoft fantasy or whatever, or something like that. Like, well, then you can't be saying this is true. This is what happened in Japan and everything, because they're like, this is not historically true. Where there's been many statements by Ubisoft, not developers, but I guess representatives saying like, oh, yeah, this is historically true, and we did our research. Where like people in Japan are like, this is not true at all. None of this happened whatsoever. Like, there's been folk tales of Yusuke in many different ways. Like I said, that's why he's been considered as like a John Appleseed, because it's been like, oh yeah,
like anime and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's been different anime. He was in different animes. He's actually been in different games as well. This is the first game he's in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors, right? He was in.
I think he was in Dynasty Warriors. Yeah. Okay. But I think this kind of like, and obviously we are not the people to be talking about if this is an appropriation of Japanese culture, since we are not Japanese from my knowledge of us four. So like, I can't say specifically like with this petition, especially because it is in Japanese and I haven't gone through and translated it all. Whether I could understand where they're coming from someone outside of the culture. I think this is more like what I'm more interested in talking about is like the idea of Assassin's Creed and like how it was set up, like with the Animus, and like how it's very based in like a historical context. There is a line that the franchise does have to straddle when it is like going with cultures that are more minority representation in this space, because like if you're just playing Assassin's Creed, and I forgot the mode where they had like the museum tour, like the historical tour, you know what I'm talking about?
Discovery,
Discovery, where it is more accurate, but like how the game presents itself, if you are not familiar with the Assassin's Creed franchise and you're seeing like, you're hearing about Da Vinci and all these other prominent figures in history, even though there is a backdrop of like, this is a fictional world, fictional story, they do put a lot of factual things within the world of Assassin's Creed, right? So I think it's like potentially like a misunderstanding of like what this franchise is, like, because it does present itself as being like going back in history and does like have like this historical lens over it that may be seemed as accurate if you're not familiar with Assassin's Creed, but for those who's played Assassin's Creed knows that like it's the history part is more of an inspiration rather than an accuracy thing. So it's like, how does Ubisoft now go and like tackle or like go and put a spotlight on these cultures that are not, representative? Is there more of a responsibility to be more factually accurate than maybe they've treated other, like the Ezio storyline, where everyone knows these prominent, Italian figures in history, right? Because they're talked about so much in school.
Like Uncle Mario.
Especially but like is there now like a greater responsibility that the Assassin's Creed franchise has to have going into these cultures that aren't as explored, right? And like we can look at something like Ghost for an example and see how that team handled Ghost of Tsushima and how they really were completely involved. Even though it's like a North American studio, they were really heavily like into the research side of like that period of Japan. And I think that's more of an interesting conversation because we don't have that background.
Yeah, I think it's as you mentioned, it's like with regards to Assassin's Creed games, they've always kind of like teetered the line between historical accuracy and a fantastical story set during that time period. They have been in the past pretty well versed and well researched when it comes to a lot of their games. I remember hearing a story that with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the historical team basically, or at least have worked on that as part of the narrative team, they had so much material that they couldn't put into Odyssey that they decided to create a whole entire new game of it and created that's how Immortals came to be. And so it's interesting that that this time they're kind of getting a more backlash than before. But yeah, I mean, I think obviously times have changed since they first since the first Assassin's Creed game, when they tried to sort of add that historical accuracy in there. And hey, if there are some things that they need to kind of get right, I think this is also, isn't this the first time that they've actually taken someone from history and sort of created the main character around it? Or am I mistaken? Because
playable?
Yeah, like as the main playable character.
I don't know.
I know three had like Washington and
but I'm telling like the playable, the main actual character. It was never based on someone historical, like an actual person, who lived from that time period. Yeah. So in that case, in that case, like if Yasuke is kind of more of a Johnny Appleseed sort of character, I think with the context of again, if it's if it is sort of like one of those if Japanese culture is no, this is absolutely not true, need to get rid of it, then I'll side with them. But I think in this particular case, it's the characters that they create as the playable characters within the Assassin's Creed world are they're just people within the world that they exist in, and then they fill the rest of the world with as historical accuracy as they possibly can. So I don't know. I just think I don't know what the best case scenario is, and the thing is we don't know anything about the game than what we've already seen, and I think in some cases people are kind of more speculating than necessarily knowing what is actually in the game. Only people at Ubisoft know. So I don't know.
I mean, them completely ripping off a flag from a group that does reenactments of the historical reenactments of the Edo period. I mean, and that's what they apologized for. I think they recognize that was an error in their team, whether it was an artist that used that as inspiration and maybe it was too close and it just wasn't caught going through, whatever checks they do go through behind the scenes. But again, it's then how much are you really and that's the thing. It's I'm curious to the Yasuke part, if what is the issue within the petition?
Yeah. Well, I do have something here. Maybe that will add more context here. So this is comments from people on the petition. I was a fan of Assassin's Creed series, but when it was announced, there was a political pushback about Black people and LGBTQ plus people. Yusuke depicted as a famous samurai who is bowed down, and he is treated this as a historical fact, trying to make Black people into the hero and spread a false history to the world. This is incorrect history of Yusuke, though to be caused by Thomas Loki's book Nobunaga and Yusuke, the Black Samurai who survived Honoji, because Yusuke was a slave.
Yes.
And he was taken in, and after that, I don't know. After that,
I believe the family that had him liked him so much and made him into a samurai.
Yeah,
and gave him the title of samurai. From my understanding, I don't know if that's 100% true. But yeah, I mean, it's so tough. I think when it's getting to, because there has been interviews with them saying oh, he's the first Black samurai. He probably wasn't even a samurai at all. He was probably just given. Well, no, I think he was a samurai.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah, he was a samurai. He served as a samurai.
They said it was it wasn't specifically samurai, but he was trained in the arts of it, I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
I think he was a samurai, but it was a short period of time. So samurai dedicate the whole life, their whole life to being a samurai. I think he was only a samurai for a year and a half, because he was given that title. And I think it was for a very specific period, because of a war, a civil war. That's why he was given the title, to serve in the war. But yeah, I think this conversation of who Yasuke is, it's then like, okay, again, it's like, yes, you do want to. I think like the cool thing is, yeah, he's technically the first Black samurai, you know, that, you know, served, or like an African American or an African man who served as a samurai, which is very unheard of story. I think like when you're looking at a game, it is exploring what could have been with that story, like in the world of Assassin's Creed, what could happen. And there is going to be kind of like picking and choosing, like what is the history from Yasuke that they do want to grab, and what is the history of samurais that they want to grab, right? It's like, it is a tough line to tread, and it could go very dicey very quickly if the wrong thing like grabbed from, you know, culture and from like this particular figure in history. But I mean, I'm not the person. We're not to be making the call whether that's right or wrong. But it's like, I think there has to be some level of understanding that this is for entertainment and this is a fictionalized story. And whether that is maybe them putting in like a disclaimer at the start of the game, right? Like that really makes it apparent that like this is inspired by him being an African American samurai, and
being like inspired by historical events.
Because
yes, right. And I think they usually put that disclaimer at the start.
Well, it's just that people are going around saying like, and not just like random like you and me. Like it's like people who work at Ubisoft like, oh yeah, this is historically true. Like, and that's where they're
going around saying that?
Yeah, there's been many interviews with them saying that like, oh yeah, we did our research. We have a historian, and Yusuke and his story is historically true, and we took that and making it into our own story. I'm like so that's where people were kind of like upset about saying like, well, none of this is true. Like this didn't happen.
And I think also what it is as well is there isn't like, I think there's so many different tellings of Yasuke from my understanding that it's like very fragmented in terms of like what his story was, based on like what is found about him on that around that time, and then what historians are piecing together. And like that's the thing, it's like when you watch like a lot of historical documentaries, a lot of the time they're like, we believe that this is what happened because we discovered, it's theorizing what happened because some things did go undocumented. They weren't like in books, history books. This wasn't a story that was carried through, right? Like honestly, like given the state of the world with African culture, like this is probably something that wasn't really documented because it wasn't really glamorized and like spotlighted until like now, where it's like we want to see Black people in different spaces. We want to see them in different types of stories. And I think that should be celebrated as well, right? As well as respecting Japanese culture and understanding that this is fictional. And I think this is supposed to be like a celebratory story of, you know, who Yasuke is. And like, it's a tragic story as well. Like he was a slave, right? Like, so I don't know. Yeah. This one's a real tough call.
No, absolutely. No. And
I am glad that they're having the discussions now because it gives them time to change things, you know? So it's like, that also happened with the latest Assassin's Creed game. I think there was a song that they viewed as like, that's not something that would have been, you know, said or sang or something like that, or there's a line in it that was like not correct, and they were able to revise that before it came out, which was great. So it's like, I mean, they have time to address some things, or if it's a matter of like, well, it's like historical fiction and clarifying, like I think that puts them in a better position to release it. You know, I don't imagine they'll pull the release though.
No, I can't say that either. Like if hopefully, like if they like already making steps of apologizing about the flag, hopefully they could also make the steps as well, be like, hey, some statements saying that this is historically true, that's our fault as well, you know, and hopefully they could go for it, making it as, you know, respectful as possible. So that's like, you know, that's definitely one thing with any culture. You want to respect any culture, especially if you want to tell a story and like tell your own like fictional story behind it as well. You definitely want to be respectful behind it. So hopefully things will change, and we'll move on to story number 2, which is Gamecube games coming to NSO. Question mark.
I hope so.
Do you think a user at Family Boards, Luigi Blood, that's the person's username, posted
Does
some
he bleed green?
maybe some custom shipping data, and it was discovered to be possible reference to the GameCube controller with similar code names that was parts of their previous NSO controllers.
That'd be pretty cool.
So,
I mean, I would love it. I didn't have a GameCube as a kid. That was because the Nintendo 64, my parents got me, and they're like, yo, that was pricey. The games are really expensive. You need to hold on tight and not play the GameCube because you have, and I had like a PlayStation. So it was like, they were like, and you have a Game Boy, like color, you gotta slow your roll, kid. That was the console where they're like, and I remember like the rumors, oh my God, they're calling it the Dolphin. Like, what is it going to be? Like, I was so excited about GameCube and crushed that I didn't get it. So there's a lot of games on GameCube that I have not played. Super Mario Sunshine was one of them until it came out for the Wii U. Was it the Wii U that came out for?
It came out with the 3D.
Sunshine was the GameCube.
No,
it came out with 3D collections.
Yeah. It came out with 3D collection, right? Was that on the Switch?
Yes.
Are you talking Galaxy or Sunshine?
Sunshine.
Both
I played Galaxy. Galaxy was on Wii.
That was like a time
exclusive.
3D. That's why.
Yeah. So that's when I played Sunshine. And I was like, thank goodness. I can't believe the Switch is that old. Oh my gosh.
Which is pretty old.
Yeah.
I was like, was that the Wii? I was like, it didn't feel like the Wii. I was like, oh my god.
Do you think this will come out for the NSO? That way they can prepare for it when Switch 2 or Super Nintendo Switch comes out, and that way they could be like, all right, price hike now.
GameCube,
GameCube's out as well. And
oh man, I hope they call it the Super Nintendo.
I think is
it coming on this generation? Because those games are pretty big. They're almost like a gig.
Right, but I think they would figure out a way to be able to make it smaller and emulated to a certain degree. I think that if they're going to launch it as part of the NSO, I would say probably it's a good bet to be able to that'll be before the Switch 2 comes out. I think if they've already rumors of it happening, because with NSO they rarely ever kind of make like huge announcements for it. But then again, it's like they kind of made a big deal about what was it? That basically it was. Whenever the N64 was added on, I think they kind of made it as part of the one of the Nintendo Directs, right? When they announced it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, I could go either way.
Kazooie for it when they did that.
Yeah, true.
That's right.
I mean, that would be a really good holiday release.
I would think so.
Like a cube drop, that'd be pretty cool. My guess, I wonder. Like, I think making a compatible GameCube controller for Switch.
They have those
sense.
already, though.
But I know, but like without the docket and stuff, like a wireless one would be nice.
Yeah.
But
that's what they usually do. They'll make like a wireless version.
Will come back.
Ooh,
the Wavebird, one of the best controllers out there. That was wireless.
That would be so cool if they brought the Wavebird back for real.
Yeah.
Like I do wonder though, like they just remade Thousand Year Door. They ported Sunshine already, which it's not available now, but you can revisit
Metroid
that.
Prime.
But Prime got remastered. Like it feels like we're in the era of GameCube remakes and re-releases. Like I wonder if they make more money that way.
What?
Not that I mean, there's something to be said.
I think that is the time when you do a GameCube game.
When you do,
Nintendo does they do. But I think this is the time. Like to your point, Riley. Like because they are having the GameCube releases. You get some GameCube games on NSO. Like it may not be the Mario Sunshine, but they could explore those other games that they're not too sure how it would perform as a full release, or maybe they don't want to pool the resources into porting it over and just having it on NSO.
It'd be interesting because it's like I'm looking at sort of like a list of like they said like the best GameCube games, and we already have pretty much a majority of them already that's been remastered or remade or just re-released, like Metroid Prime, Resident Evil 4, as you said, Thousand Year Door. They've got Rogue Squadron, I think, has been re-released for the Switch. Obviously, Smash Bros. They've already kind of have their own version of Smash Bros. For the Switch. Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes. That's part of the Metal Gear Solid collection. Is that on the Switch, or is that just? Monarch, like
I don't know if
Xbox and
Twin
PS5.
Snakes was
I don't
part of the
know.
collection because that was a
No?
remake of the first one.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. So I don't think that hasn't returned yet. I mean, if
Right.
they do it, they have a ton of games. Like Luigi's
That's
Mansion,
true.
like the original would be cool.
Yeah.
Smash
Yeah.
Brothers Melee is like beloved. Like
That would
was-
be
Yeah.
that
With
would be
online?
crazy.
This would be the,
that
you
alone
know,
they'll charge
But that's the one I feel like that should be the game that should be ported over. Like that should
get like a full on like redo.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's the thing, though. It's like this would give a lot of credence to people who've been pushing for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess because those were GameCube
those were
games.
GameCube. Yeah,
Well, wasn't Twilight Princess
it was a dual.
Wii?
release.
It
It's a
was Wii,
transition.
and then it
And
came out
GameCube.
on GameCube. Yeah. So I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But not
I
only
don't
that, like no better way to
just
like
excited.
prepare yourself for Metro Prime 4 than you're like, well, here's 2 and 3 on NSO before
they're
it comes out.
Well, 3
they're
is
coming-
with Wii, but 2 would be good.
Oh, that's right.
Wow, I'm just looking at all the
I
like
thought it was on GameCube.
I'm just looking at all the games that were released on GameCube, and there were some pretty good ones in there.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
legit.
Like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time was in there. Mario Strikers, WarioWare, Super Monkey Ball, Resident Evil 2,
Double Dash. Oh,
Double Dash.
Double
Oh,
Dash,
that'd be so
yeah.
good.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4,
Yeah.
uh,
those are bangers.
Soul Calibur 2.
Star
That
Fox
needs to
Adventure.
come. That's
Hit
the
and
only
run.
one that never came
Oh,
out.
Simpsons
That-
Hit and
online.
Run.
that, yeah.
Oh,
Even Beyond Good and Evil too. So I mean,
Oh
with the
my
20th
gosh,
anniversary,
Soul
yeah.
Calibur. That was when they
Soul
had
Calibur 2 with Link in
Link
it.
in it,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's
Yeah,
the
that's
only
that
one that
Link.
never came out with HD. They brought out the HD online, and like they added Spawn and Hayache to the other platforms. I'm like, but it never came to the Nintendo. I was like, well, add Link in it. Like, what are you guys doing? Like come on, you make money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it
what they're
was
doing.
pretty
Just sleeping
cool.
on that one.
Soul Calibur 2 was sick though.
Yeah,
Soul
it
Calibur was like
Yeah.
the
I was
best
always a
one
Soul
in history.
Calibur 3 kind of guy. I mean, I played 2, but it was like 2 was great, but 3 was kind of like my jam. But I was playing more of that on the Dreamcast than I was anywhere else.
It was only on
The
PlayStation.
OG.
Only.
Yeah. OG Soul Calibur was like my Dreamcast game.
It was only on PlayStation though.
Soul Calibur?
I thought I remember
No, it
playing
came
it.
out.
No,
It
you said
came
Soul
out-
Calibur. You said Soul Calibur 3.
Oh, Soul Calibur 3.
That was like a PlayStation exclusive. That's why people got upset about that.
3? Wasn't 3
No, I
with,
think it wasn't.
Yoda and Vader on
No,
Xbox
that's
and
4.
PlayStation? That was that 4?
That's 4. 3 was like a PlayStation exclusive. That's I remember that. I was like, why would you make 2 the best one and make 3 exclusive of PlayStation?
I guess maybe one of it was the
It
original
was
Soul
probably
Calibur.
Soul Calibur, the original
Soul
one.
Calibur
because,
original one with the Dreamcast.
Yeah, okay,
that
that's
was
probably the one I
Dreamcast
played
because
then.
it was
Yeah.
like when you had their icons and like it was just like they had their weapons on the like controller and you're
Yeah.
just like, this is the
Yeah,
coolest
yeah,
thing
yeah.
ever.
That's what it was. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my bad.
There are a lot of goodies, but my point is like I feel like everybody would make more money if they just like remastered those.
But then we wouldn't get new games if they keep remastering.
Sure, we will.
No, I think
Yeah,
they
there's
use.
not
I
much
think
effort
Nintendo
to
uses remasters in a
I
weird way.
can remaster in my Switch.
Yeah, you can remaster everything. I feel like we'll get DS games before we get GameCube games.
Do you think they'll allow us to
DS
buy the
games
game
should
separately,
be on
like how they do with
NSO.
PlayStation?
I don't know.
I
They've
don't
been.
know if they will.
Nintendo kind of. It's either they just put it into a bundle as a physical release and for limited time, or they just put it as NSO.
We
Wouldn't
do
you
know.
Wouldn't you get more
we do
money
know
that way?
But then actually, do they get more money? Because remember, the NSO bundle to add the 64 games,
Was
it's
the
more.
expansion pack.
Yeah.
Although that
It's an
was heavily
expansion.
themed to Nintendo 64 by calling it an expansion pack.
I know.
So
But
it's
I
like
mean,
maybe you do
Brilliant.
something.
But
in,
I
like,
think
an upgraded
maybe-
tier.
yeah,
Small
like I think
disc.
it's like an upgraded tier. And like imagine if they have Melee on that, how many people would be paying money?
They'll crash.
That'd be
They'll crash the NSO.
pretty legit.
They'll legit crash NSO.
That would be
Yeah.
pretty bonkers if they got that.
And
right.
that will
I think
help
they
them
make more
reach
money
their-
on the NSO membership, to tell you the truth.
They partnered, they co-launched a studio with DNA. I think they own 90% of it, but DNA owns like 10%. And they basically are like totally reformatting their online structure. Is the purpose of that studio. So I think my assumption is that they want a service that's scalable to multiple devices.
Yeah.
And maybe has like added incentive to
Oh my god.
like a next gen console.
Imagine if like NSO like starts to be available on mobile, and you could have DS games on your phone.
I feel like that's probably the game plan if they're partnered with DNA, who is
like that would be wild. I would not even need the Play Store. Like I'd just be like,
here's the thing: like you can keep like the GameCube games because it is harder to like render that stuff. Like you can render the GBA and Game Boy no problem, and you launch Pokemon on a mobile service, like. Oh, everyone would be subscribed day one.
They have it attached to Pokemon Go on your phone.
Yeah,
what is Pokemon Company doing? Why can't they just do like Pokemon Red and Blue? Just update the graphics, make it real time. Have real time.
So good.
Have real time events like it's mobile. You integrate Pokemon Go into that somehow. You have real time events.
That's why,
right? Like I would go.
Everyone will stop working.
Insane. Like you're really just, oh my gosh, you're in Pallet Town again, and oh my,
that'd be great.
Pretty good,
Riley. You can,
I'll get
any
on that.
game over. Like, can you just
I don't know. I feel like probably we'll see it scaled meaningfully. My guess, if they were to do something, I feel like they would do DS if they're going first party, and Sega Dreamcast if they were going to expand the other way. Because they already have.
And you bring out Soul Calibur.
Then you do Soul Calibur. Yeah.
Oh my
God. Soul Calibur, get Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Yeah. Like, easy.
But then I feel like with like Sega looking at their
Power Stone.
You see Sega's like vamping with like Crazy Taxi and I don't know if they will do that now.
Why not? It's a perfect feeder into your ecosystem.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're watching. Microsoft make those deals with Nintendo for Perfect Dark. Mm-hmm. That's clearly a lead into their game. So it's like that is happening.
Who knows when that's coming out? So
yeah. If they're cutting, I mean, like it's weird because Nintendo makes their own Sega Genesis controller. Like it's just a weird timeline.
True, yeah.
So it's like it's so Dreamcast is like not crazy, and it kind of I feel like people would be pretty excited if they announced that. And it costs Sega. It just makes Sega free money, so they don't have to the games or anything.
I would say,
it's just a ROM.
I would say the Dreamcast would be the one kind of like retro console that if they ever made like that mini version that they did for the NES, Super NES, I would buy that in a heartbeat. I don't care.
Depends on what games. Like, there's also some games on Dreamcast where you're just like,
Sure, but I mean, there were some pretty decent ones there on it too. That I think
there were really good ones. Yeah. Well, and that's why remember Sega when they had their like what was that commercial thing for? It was like a trailer for like I guess like their arcade or whatever thing. And I thought they were coming out with a mini, and it was not.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah,
I'm like, is it a mini? Is it a mini? And they did not do the mini.
Because didn't they do a Sega Genesis Mini though? They did a Sega Genesis Mini though.
No, they did. But I thought it was like a Dreamcast Mini because like of the games they were showing.
It was like a Christmas ornament. It became or something.
Right.
I would like imagine. Oh my gosh. Sega, listen. Okay, I have the perfect plan. Imagine you do a Dreamcast Mini, but for the controller, you have like a redesign of the memory card controller, but it's also a Tamagotchi that you could remove from the controller, and you could have like a little Ivy from Soul Calibur, and you're just like, what up?
You used to fight each other with if you connect them, which is so crazy because it's so tiny and I like. So they connect.
I feel like
I like the little chow that you could have with Sonic Adventure.
The chow from Sonic Adventure. Yeah.
They would have to do. If they do a mini, they have to do the controller with the screen, and it's like you just can't have that. You have to have it.
Just make it wireless this time. I don't want to connect to anyone. So I don't want to be that close.
Running the cord in,
running the cord in, and everything.
All right, that was fun. Yeah, that was fun for a couple hours. I'm gonna put that on the shelf.
Please step away from me. But okay. So Switch is at 141.3 million, as PlayStation's at 155. I think any rendition of Melee Online.
Are you talking about online memberships?
No, I just mean
they got Melee Online.
Oh, okay.
Add Melee Online. I think I'll bump up some more sales for Switch because
it would be huge if they did
Switch
that.
Switch sales are like
be very big if they did that.
Yeah,
a part of me wonders if they would because there'd be fear of cannibalizing whatever they're working on now. I'm sure, but
Well, just carry
We're
over.
playing on
Here's
Snap
the thing, it's like-
64 as well. Like that's not on the service yet.
As much as I would like, I think that you're right that Melee would sell like some Switches. I think though that the people who own a Switch would be the ones that like that they would have put Melee out for. Like you're not really. It's not like there's a Melee fan out there that is just like refusing to buy a Switch. But as soon as they put Melee on Switch, it's sort of like, now I gotta get myself a Switch.
Well,
like,
there are people in the FGC that are refusing to buy Nintendo consoles, and they're Melee players because of the situation between Nintendo and competitive play.
Oh,
there
so
are
it's the
people out there
FGC crowd that are holding out. Okay.
to play this game. All right, so they will not buy a Switch.
Yeah,
I don't think Nintendo doesn't feel too bad. I don't think.
No,
right? But I don't know. I'm sure that we will get something like that.
I mean, hey, they're already like the fact that they're bringing Marvel versus Capcom 2. It's like they're talking.
Take
to
me
the
for a
FGC.
ride.
They're just like
announcement.
they're talking to the FGC. They're like,
it was their announcement, and that games were never. None of those were never on a Nintendo console. That's the whole irony.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They were either on Genesis or not Genesis, Saturns or Dreamcast and PlayStation.
PlayStation,
yeah. Wasn't there like only one that was like only arcade only, or am I misremembering that?
There are like different iterations.
There's different iterations of it.
Right. Okay.
And X-Men, Street Fighter. Like there's like so many different versions of it with different. I think some of them have some different unlockable characters and stuff. So
yeah.
Got
it. It is. This one's going to be like we think it's going to be like based off the arcade, but definitive. Like they're like hidden characters that previously were not playable.
Yeah, like Cyber Akuma is available.
Cyber Akuma,
yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just stuff like that.
Imagine if Link's playable. It's like Marvel versus Capcom and Nintendo editions.
Featuring Nintendo. Yeah.
Do you guys remember the interview where they asked the Capcom team that does the Versus series? They're like, oh, what company would you like to do a Versus series with? And they're like, Nintendo, for sure, Nintendo. Like Nintendo versus Capcom. And then they had to put out a statement like, we didn't mean to suggest that, or imply that this was going to be a thing.
Well, because fans got
the ninjas when we came out the door.
Nintendo versus Capcom would be crazy.
Insane.
That would be so good.
That'd be insane.
And that's Smash Brothers.
No, it's not
it's
because
just,
it would be in this. I would say it would be in the style of like Marvel versus Capcom, but you have like I think whenever you have like a versus series and the Capcom's there, you have to have it in the style of like that iconic Marvel versus Capcom 2 style, and you bring in Nintendo characters in that style.
I don't know if Capcom's doing sprites anymore. I will love them to do sprites because those were cool.
Let's get the Marvel versus series back on track.
And then we could dream.
When do you think that's going to be announced though?
Like, what do you mean?
If they were to, I think that if this sells well,
they said this year, but then like
find a team. Oh, I don't know. I just think
Evo will be the announcement time,
but I don't know.
Sorry, announcement for what? I missed that.
The
Marvel vs. Capcom
the collection. They only said was this year. So like when this year?
I think October maybe. Yeah, I feel like they'll definitely announce it soon.
I'm guessing so.
It is this year though.
I'm hoping for a nice shadow drop at the end of Evo.
That would be
at Evo. Yeah,
end of Evo, being like, all right, thank you so much for coming out. Go enjoy Marvel vs. Capcom. People are like, what?
That's crazy. That's this month, buddy.
It is. 3 of the games in that collection are playable at Evo.
Exactly.
So
that would be such a good...
It looks ready.
That would be cool.
It looks ready.
I don't know, man. Don't get me thinking that way.
I need some people to help me out. I need some people on my wagon.
Are you guys going to Evo? Should I go to Evo?
I'm not going. Roshan's going.
I'm not going.
Yeah, Rose.
I'm not going, but you should go.
You should go. Be our representative and I'm in live from there.
I'm live from Evo.
I'm live from Evo. Hello.
The crowd's going wild, Marcel.
Back to you.
Back to you, Marcel, the one and only Steve and Riley.
Camille, how's Evo going? Great, back to
live
you.
on the scene.
It's going great. Back to you, Riley.
No, Camille, how's it going?
Like
No,
it's
that's
like
the only
Ollie the
check-in.
weatherman from Family Guy.
Yeah.
It's gonna rain. Yeah,
It's gonna rain.
It's still raining. Yeah.
So
It's wet. Yeah. It is July. For those who don't know, time is flying by. We're already halfway through the year, so I figured this is the best time to say what is the best games that people should be playing in 2024 so far.
Rebirth.
Ooh.
Definitely.
That's it. I figured you would say that. That's why I'm glad you're here on the show. You will cover my Final Fantasy coverage
Yeah,
right there.
I think Rebirth, like, even though it got flack, like I still don't understand how they did that game so well.
I'm waiting for the PC version, so
Yeah, of course you are. I would say, okay, what are we doing? Like one game and then going in a circle? Keep
yep,
going?
you're wasted your one. That's all. No, you can do one. No,
You're done.
You're done, kid. That.
Back
No, you
to
can say
Evo.
you can say more. Just throw them out.
I
Like for me,
mean,
Prince
oh
of
my
Persia is mine.
gosh.
Oh yeah.
Prince of Persia Lost Crown, still a fantastic game. It's
Yeah?
highly
Yeah.
rated in my books for this year.
Hi-Fi
really good.
Rush, everyone. Like, I forgot. Like, I know
That wasn't
you
this
just
year
said
though,
this.
right?
That was
I
last
know,
year,
but I
bro.
mean, like, it still did release for PC. What was it for?
PlayStation.
PS5 this year,
PS5,
so
yeah.
it kind of counts for if people are playing it for the first time this year. Shut up, Riley. But I think
It counts, guys.
it's
Okay.
crazy how many games came out so far this year. Like, looking at
Yep.
this list, I'm just like,
Dragon's Dogma.
I'll say mine is Helldivers. I think that's like
Helldiver, yeah.
I think it's just even with the player base isn't as it is when it was at its peak, and there is obviously the controversy of having to sign up for a PlayStation account, which we had talked about this on the show a couple of times already, but I think that one kind of, I think in a sense, I think convinced PlayStation that yes, simultaneous PC releases can be good, and I think. Because I've heard the rumors that essentially that's what they made. And they have. I think they said it in a investor call that live service games will launch day and date with console and PC. And I think that Helldivers 2 was kind of like that first experiment to see if it would work, and it obviously was a huge success for them. And I just love seeing like essentially it's part of PlayStation. It can be considered sort of AAA, but I kind of think of it as more of a AA kind of game. It's nice to see that that kind of can still be a surprise in the video game landscape, where we get a game like that in Power World. And I said it before, I think honestly this is the year of PC gaming. I think it's really popped off a lot with just this year alone. I'm currently playing a lot more games on Steam than I ever had in the past. And I just think there's just been really great. Okay, well, I was about to say what was the
I play on PC sometimes. I was playing a Chain Together. I think the year of PC has been around. I think the year of integrating PC into more of the mainstream gaming media is definitely this year, along with what you're saying, Steve. I think this is the year we're seeing those integrations where it's mainstream media who usually doesn't cover PC games is talking.
There's just so many of them.
Yeah,
there's just so many of them. PC's taken over. It's taken over. But holy crap, Thousand Year Door. Forgot about that.
That's another great one.
Tekken
That's
8.
a good one.
Another
Tekken.
Even the story alone was fantastic.
As mixed as some of the reviews came out of it, I think Hellblade 2, another great game for 2024.
Fantastic game.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's staple for visuals and everything.
Yeah,
to show hey, this is what game is going to be in the future.
Yeah, this is the example of what Unreal Engine 5 can be. It's just so good.
Yeah. Balatro as well. I know Steve.
Balatro,
the other Steve, that guy, he loves that game. So
I like it too.
Okay, just Steve likes it. The other Steve, you like
exactly.
It.
Yeah, that's good. Again, another one of those it's PC release, but I mean it also came out on console too. But
as well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like it's an interesting year because we haven't really had like the big like AAA like here's like the titles. I think that's coming like at the end of the year because we got like so far like Indiana Jones coming out. We've got Astrobot coming out, and then
Suicide Squads.
I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm thinking more of like first party.
Yeah.
I tried to erase that from my memory.
Yeah, I'm completely like erasing Suicide Squad.
For me, I can't because Caboose. He's making content, and I see it all the time.
I know. I see it pop up in my feed, and so I have to give him a watch because he's a friend.
I had to give him a like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as far as like first party, this is kind of like the first year, at least the first half of the year. I think that we haven't really had a huge first party release. I mean, because Rebirth was
party. Okay.
Yeah, because Rebirth was third, and Hellblade was. I think that's probably the only one, if I'm not mistaken.
Princess Peach.
Helldivers
Peach, Luigi's
Peach,
Mansion.
yeah, Luigi's. But that Luigi's Mansion is kind of more. I don't know. I'm thinking like
more HD.
You're thinking like brand new game.
Yeah. Like it just like, but it's great because again, it's highlighting indie developers. It's highlighting game like the idea of like of wish listing a game now. I think is kind of becoming a big part. Again, that's kind of like the whole PC thing. So I think I don't know. I just that's my sort of bid for best of the year. I mean, we still have some pretty good game like bangers coming out at the end of the year. Which
we're 6 months done. That's it. Like
Astrobot is incredible.
Yeah,
I played an hour of that game. It is bonkers.
Aren't they doing like little Easter egg hunts for those games for that game too? Astrobot.
Oh yeah, there's references hidden all over it. Like they have to find and stuff. Like I think that
you get trophies for those too if you find them. I think. I just want to ask really quickly: what is one game you think Nintendo could have brought out to like other platforms?
That what?
Oh, like if they were to bring a game to other platforms, what would it be?
I think
for me, it should have been like Tetris 99 or even Pac-Man 99. I don't know why they didn't.
You're thinking that route, yeah.
They're not gonna bring on Nintendo. They're not gonna bring on Mario to like.
Because I was thinking like Breath of the Wild or like Tears of the Kingdom to other platforms, but they'll
be like, because people will be like, this game looks 10 times and runs 10 times better. Why am I?
I think it would be a Pokemon MMO.
Oh no! Wait, what about their MOBA? Their Pokemon MOBA. I think that would have
that would if we're talking existing games, that definitely makes the most sense to me.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Like Pokemon, was it? I don't even remember what's Pokemon Unite.
It is Unite.
Yeah, Unite. Yeah, that's it.
So that I don't know why that's not on PC. That's where the mobile
too. Yeah,
I think because it will run online would be too good on PC, and I think they have an advantage of that.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know if they were to make a Pokemon MMO, I think that would be everywhere. That'd be on PC for sure. Like with the success of Pal World, it's like, well, there's your audience. Like,
I think even if it's not an MMO, like I think if it's just a Pokemon game anywhere because it resonates with so many people, it would be very successful.
I don't know why I didn't bring like Tetris 99. Like they don't.
No, I don't think that would work. Like because I just think playing it on I think it would work if it was going on mobile. I don't think if it would work, it would be going like to consoles or PC.
But they don't even own Tetris, so it's not really a Nintendo game.
But they publish it, but I feel like that type of game would be like, hey, it's available elsewhere and crossplay. I would have brought more people.
I could see, right? Like I do think that they'll bring their subscription service to multi-platforms. Maybe not PlayStation and Xbox right away, but mobile for sure. Like that to me makes a ton of sense. And then you start getting some of maybe the Tetris 99 or the F-Zero 99, and then some of the legacy software.
They just updated that, by the way.
They did, yeah. That was kind of cool.
A lot of stuff,
I don't know if you guys have played F-Zero 99. It is a great game.
It's a
I have played it. Play it.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It's like you're like white knuckling going around corners like right before they end. It's so good.
Especially when you start flashing like, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Like, I'm gonna blow up! I'm gonna blow up!"
Use your final boost and your like HP to just get over the line ahead of the
It's crazy. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The only Steve, what's going on for you for the rest of the week?
I'm in planning mode for the next Dungeons and Disableds adventure. Awesome. So we were recording a bunch of Session Zero stuff. Actually, after recording this, I've got a session 0 recording for we're doing the full session recording on Sunday, and hopefully we'll be out before the end of July for the first episode. So
nice.
Cool,
yeah.
buddy.
So I'm excited for that. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Well, Riley.
I feel like I just need to sleep more because I'm so tired for Money in the Bank weekend. I'm so tired.
I hear that.
So I'm gonna be sleeping more, and then also we have a big savings event at Walmart coming up and a bunch of other stuff. So that's pretty exciting. And the Concord beta is this weekend.
Oh, is it? Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
Pre-order right now and get yourself 5 codes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, wait, you guys have that bundle? All right, never mind. I think we talked about this. The NSO edition, the NES edition,
The expansion.
championship. No, the championship.
Oh, the championship.
The World Championship.
The
Yeah,
golden cartridge
It's not to get
replica.
that,
Yeah. That is
It's kind of. I feel like that's something you should kind of get. I feel like.
If you're a gamer at all, you gotta have it.
Are you even a gamer if you
Are you
don't
even-
have
are
it?
you even a
Nintendo World
You don't
Championship?
have that?
You're right. I thought the chair alone was enough. I guess I did that, So.
I just can't. Like, I've been watching so much footage of that, and like, I just can't wait for the SNES version, SNES, N64. Oh my gosh, Super Mario.
Ooh, that'd be good.
64?
N64 version would be crazy cool.
I would
Like
be
trying to
bonkers.
do like
You gotta get the
speed
rare
run?
games in there though. Like you gotta get like the banjo and stuff, like Perfect
Yeah.
Doll, GoldenEye. Like you
It's
gotta
more,
do
it's more Microsoft money right there.
yeah.
rare replay. That's what
Mario Kart runs.
Oh, imagine a rare replay speedrunner sort of thing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be dope.
Oh man.
Yeah, Camille, what's going on with you besides dreaming over here?
Daydreaming. Continuing
Daydreaming,
daydream. Catching up on my garden. My garden isn't doing the best, guys.
Mm.
Aw.
It's struggling this year.
Mm.
I think because I was traveling, people weren't watering it as they should. So I need to
Oh,
care for my little veggies and fruits that I'm growing in the garden. So I'm just going to be spending time in the garden, trying to survive the heat wave, and then also working on my own content now that I'm home for a bit. So, yeah.
awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, for me, I'm catching up on all the backlog of games and preparing some stuff that I can't, like I said, I couldn't talk about. So I'll tell you guys afterwards. but yeah, that's pretty much it. And we'll see you all here next week. It was a light week for gaming, and but I think things might be picking up soon as we're getting close to Gamescom. Is the next one?
Gosh, yeah.
Gamescom.
Oh my god, that's August, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, I think that might be the next big event.
Coming
I
up
think.
soon. Big events coming up. So,
Yeah.
August 21st to the 25th.
yeah, we got time. we got time. Relax, Jeff. We got time. All right, we'll see you all here next week. Take care, everybody.